History often looks neat and organized in textbooks, but what if the real story was hidden? Governments keep secrets, documents stay classified, and some of the most important events disappear from public view for decades. Only years later, when files are declassified or whistleblowers speak out, the truth finally emerges. Today, we're uncovering 10 historical secrets that remained hidden for years before the world discovered what really happened. Number 10. Operation Northwoods. What if a government secretly planned attacks on its own people to justify a war? It sounds like fiction, but during the Cold War, a proposal like this actually existed. In 1962, the U.S. Department of Defense drafted a classified plan called Operation Northwoods during rising tensions with Cuba. The plan suggested staging incidents, such as hijackings or sabotage, and blaming them on Cuba to create public support for military action. Fortunately, the plan was never carried out. President John F. Kennedy rejected it, and the proposal remained secret for decades. The documents were only revealed in 1997 when Cold War records were declassified, exposing one of the most shocking plans of that era. Number 9. The Soviet spy ring that shocked the West. In 1945, a Soviet cipher clerk named Igor Guzenko walked out of the Soviet embassy in Ottawa carrying secret documents. Those papers exposed a massive Soviet spy network operating in Canada and other Western countries. His defection revealed that several individuals were secretly passing classified information to the Soviet Union. The evidence led to investigations, arrests, and growing fear of Soviet infiltration. Historians believe Guzenko's revelations helped ignite the mistrust that fueled the early Cold War. However, many details of the case remained hidden for decades and were only made public in 1981. Revealing just how extensive the espionage network had been. Number 8. The Mitrokhin Archive. For decades, the Soviet Union's intelligence agency, the KGB, carried out secret operations around the world. Most of these activities were locked away in highly classified archives. That changed because of one man, Vasily Mitrokhin. While working as a KGB archivist in the 1970s and 1980s, he secretly copied thousands of files detailing Soviet espionage operations. Over the years, he smuggled the notes out and hid them in his home. When the Soviet Union collapsed in 1991, Mitrokhin defected to Britain and brought the documents with him. Known as the Mitrokhin Archive, the files exposed decades of global Soviet spy networks and are now considered one of the largest intelligence leaks of the Cold War. Number 7. The Cold War Technology Theft Program. During the Cold War, the rivalry between the United States and the Soviet Union also included a secret battle for technology. The Soviet Union created a covert program called Line X, which aimed to steal scientific and industrial secrets from Western countries. Soviet agents working in embassies around the world targeted advanced technologies such as aerospace systems, computers, and industrial equipment. The operation remained hidden until a KGB officer named Vladimir Vetrov secretly passed thousands of documents to French intelligence. Known as the Farewell Dossier, the leak exposed one of the largest technology theft networks of the Cold War. The full story only became public years later when Cold War archives were declassified. Number 6. The Manhattan Project. One of the most famous secrets in history was the Manhattan Project, the United States' effort during World War II to develop the first atomic bomb. The project was conducted under extraordinary secrecy. Even many of the people involved had little understanding of what they were helping to create. At its peak, the project employed more than 130,000 workers and cost nearly $2 billion. Entire towns were built in remote locations where scientists and engineers could work away from public attention. Workers were often assigned small, specialized tasks without knowing the overall purpose of their work. For years, the existence of the project remained hidden from the public. That changed in August 1945, when atomic bombs were dropped on Hiroshima and Nagasaki. Only then did the world learn that a massive scientific program had been quietly developing nuclear weapons in secret. Number 5. Edward VIII's hidden Nazi connections. For decades, the story of King Edward VII was remembered as a romantic scandal. In 1936, he abdicated the British throne in order to marry Wallis Simpson, an American divorce. The decision shocked the monarchy and became one of the most famous royal controversies of the 20th century. However, decades later, newly released documents suggested a more troubling story. Historical records revealed that Edward and Simpson had maintained connections with Nazi Germany during the 1930s. Some reports described meetings between the former king and high-ranking Nazi officials, including Adolf Hitler. These details remained largely hidden for many years because related intelligence files were classified. When historians eventually gained access to the documents, they began re-examining Edward's role in the tense political climate leading up to World War II. The story that once appeared to be purely romantic turned out to be far more politically complicated. Number 4. The Tizard Mission. In 1940, Britain faced a serious threat. Nazi Germany had conquered much of Europe, and an invasion of Britain seemed possible. Recognizing the need for stronger defenses, British scientists secretly traveled to the United States carrying some of their most advanced technological research. This effort became known as the Tizard Mission, named after scientist Henry Tizard. Among the technologies shared with the United States was the cavity magnetron, a device that dramatically improved radar systems. Radar allowed Allied forces to detect incoming aircraft and ships, providing a critical advantage during the war. At the time, the mission was kept highly secret. Only decades later did historians fully appreciate how important this technological exchange had been. Some experts even describe the shipment of radar technology as one of the most valuable scientific transfers of the entire war. Number 3. The Oslo Report. In November 1939, a German scientist named Hans Ferdinand Mayer took an extraordinary risk. Concerned about Nazi Germany's military ambitions, he secretly sent a detailed report to British intelligence describing several advanced weapons under development in Germany. The document, later known as the Oslo Report, described radar systems, missile research, and other technologies being developed by the German military. At first, British officials were unsure whether the information was genuine. But as the war continued, it became clear that the report was remarkably accurate. The intelligence allowed Britain to better prepare its own technological defenses and develop countermeasures against German systems. For many years, the identity of the whistleblower remained unknown. Only decades later did historians confirm that Mayer had been the author of the report. Number 2. Operation Paperclip. After World War II ended, the United States and the Soviet Union entered a new geopolitical rivalry known as the Cold War. Both countries wanted access to the advanced technology developed by German scientists during the war. In response, the United States launched Operation Paperclip, a secret program designed to recruit German scientists and engineers. More than 1,600 specialists were brought to the United States to work on military research, aerospace technology, and rocket development. One of the most famous scientists recruited through the program was Wernher von Braun, who later helped design the Saturn V rocket used in NASA's Apollo moon missions. For many years, however, the controversial backgrounds of several recruited scientists were kept secret. Only later did historians reveal the ethical dilemmas surrounding the program and its connection to former Nazi researchers. Number 1. The 1953 Iranian coup. In 1953, Iran's Prime Minister Mohammad Mossadegh was suddenly removed from power. At the time, it was widely believed that internal political unrest had caused the change. However, decades later, declassified documents revealed a different story. Intelligence records showed that the United States and the United Kingdom had secretly organized a covert operation to overthrow Mossadegh after he nationalized Iran's oil industry. Fearing the loss of oil access and potential Soviet influence, Western powers supported the coup, which restored the Shah to power. Today, historians consider it one of the most significant covert operations of the Cold War, yet for years, the public had no idea it happened. And those were 10 historical secrets that remained hidden for decades before the truth finally emerged. History often holds far more mysteries than we realize. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like and subscribe for more fascinating stories from the past.